Can I actually make money living in an apartment? Some people would rather run full speed into a glass door than buy an apartment. They often think of them as small, lacking growth, potential, and inferior to houses. But is that really the whole story? Hi, I'm Simon Atkins, your brand new off-the-plan apartment specialist in Perth, helping you with your off-the-plan purchase with relevant info and options to help you navigate this specialist part of the property market. In this video, you'll learn what really generates growth, and it's not the house or the apartment. You'll also learn the advantages of apartments versus houses that most people actually assume are negatives. So apartments can offer a unique combination of affordability, lifestyle benefits, and potential for growth. And I'm totally sick of, and it really grinds my gears more than anything, when I hear people say apartments are a bad deal. Let's take Reddit for example. I know, Reddit. One Sunday afternoon, with little else to do, I went through some Reddit comments about one guy who was considering buying an apartment and asking if it was a good idea. Anyway, found some comments like, don't risk an apartment, get a house with land, apartments are a bad investment, I wouldn't go there, blah, blah, blah. Now, personally, I have no sympathy for someone going to Reddit for an answer, but these comments are by no means just a Reddit thing. I hear people say this stuff all the time, and it's totally wrong. Lack of land is the main reason this tends to rear its head, and it's dead wrong. I'm only going to say this once. Land doesn't go up. There, it's out. I know there's people out there that will screw their face up and they'll look like they've just leaked a battery to check it works, but it's what makes this whole idea kind of redundant. You see, what you're really buying is the location. Imagine taking the ocean away from Cottesloe. Would it be worth the same? What if you took a block of land from Dalkeith and transferred it to Clarkson? How about a $3 million home that I moved from Subiaco to Bayswater? Would that still be worth the same price? No, because it's not the same location. The location is what makes the property grow and determines the growth rate. Firstly, at the macro level by the city that you're buying in, and then down to the suburb or location that you're buying in. Let me tell you a little story. I once owned a house on a duplex block and an apartment concurrently for a 10-year period. At the end of the 10-year period, I decided to compare the growth of both properties. What I found really surprised me. They had both grown over that time at about the same rate. One with large land content and one essentially without land content. What I learned from this is that it's the location, Location, that determines your growth, not the actual property. So one of the biggest concerns for owner-occupiers is quite often limited space. You might think that apartments are cramped and claustrophobic with no room to breathe or even have a large meal. And then there are strata fees. Some people worry about the cost of maintaining a building they don't fully own. And what about the lack of a yard? For God's sakes! For those who love gardening or need outdoor space for kids, pets or whatever else, sure, apartments can make that seem like a bad fit, and I totally get that. However, apartments can also be super affordable. They often cost less than houses in the same area, making them a great option for first-time buyers, investors, or for much younger people than me that have a life and want to be close to the coffee shop, entertainment, etc., and as close to that kind of thing as they can get. So location is another big advantage. Apartments are often found in urban centres close to work, public transport and amenities like cafes and boutique shops, and of course entertainment. This is a huge factor for me because people are paying more and more for convenience, so location, what's actually on your doorstep, is key. So as we all know, you're paying a lot for Uber these days, you pay a lot to get meals delivered to your home, etc., etc. Convenience is the new currency. And when you get into that location at a fraction of the cost of a totally unaffordable house, or unaffordable for you, then you can get a unique proposition. I've invested heavily in apartments over a very long period of time, longer than I care to admit really, but they have never let me down. This can make for a more convenient and connected lifestyle, plus some apartment markets are seeing significant capital growth. If you pick the right location, your apartment will increase in value over time, just like a house. Yep, just like a house. Banks also see apartments like houses, which is why you can get finance on an apartment under the same type of conditions as a house. Apartments are growing faster than people's ability to say that's reasonable with a straight face. They're expected to grow at around 15 to 20% this year, according to some analysts, and have recently been outgrowing the housing growth rate. As per this graph here, apartments move in tandem with housing growth, as shown here. And let's not forget about the lifestyle options. With less space to maintain, you've got more time for the things you love. Many buildings also offer amazing amenities like gyms, pools, and community spaces. But if you don't want that stuff, then you can buy into an apartment development with lower strata fees and less or no amenity at all. The truth is, whether an apartment is a smart investment for you depends on your personal circumstances and lifestyle priorities. But do not buy an apartment because you think it will not grow in value like a house. It's just not the case at all. It's not a one-size-fits-all decision, of course. For example, if you're a busy professional who values convenience and doesn't need a big yard, an apartment might be perfect. On the other hand, if you've got a big family or love gardening, a house might be a better fit, of course. So in summary, apartments offer unique advantages for owner-occupiers like affordability, lifestyle benefits, and potential for growth. While they're not for everyone, a 4-bedroom house isn't for everyone either. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Have you invested in an apartment, or are you thinking of doing so? Share your story and let's chat. If you're interested in more content on property investment and ownership, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates.